Welcome back to God in the Grass. Today I'm going to be talking about the UK cannabis law. What is it? So currently you can get cannabis in the UK legally as a patient for many different illnesses, whether it's mental health or if it's physical, etc, etc. And this was changed in November of 2018, something that a lot of people still are not even actually aware of. So you have to go to a private clinic in the UK now in order to get a prescription, but we'll come on to that in a different video. This video we're going to talk specifically about the law. So in the UK right now, the law is that cannabis is classed as a Class B substance. So what does that mean? That means that if you are found to be in possession of cannabis, you could face up to 5 years in prison, but most likely you'll get given a warning or a £90 fine. Now, in the UK, if you are caught growing the cannabis, you can get up to 14 years. And that includes if you're growing it for medicinal effects. Again, something we'll come on to later. Now, in the UK, we are actually the largest exporter of legal cannabis in the world as of 2016. So it is quite ludicrous that in this day and age, we still don't have cannabis available as a legal thing, much like in Canada or the US. With the law change in 2018, what's happened since is that people are still unaware of that change in the law. So even our police force are quite unaware of this law change. So people are still persecuted whether or not they have a legal or illegal possession of cannabis on them. In some areas of the country, they are actually doing trials at the moment. In London, for example, I believe that they're trying to decriminalize it in certain areas just to test the impacts it might have on the community. Opinions in the UK are changing though. It was found that last year, actually 55% of the population agree that cannabis should be legalized in the UK. And I believe 16% of people who responded didn't actually care either way. So why is it in the UK that cannabis is illegal and things such as alcohol and tobacco are freely consumed? And in fact, in the UK, it's actually legal and very easy to brew your own alcohol at home for your own personal use. So why is it that you can't purchase cannabis freely in the UK, or you can't even grow cannabis for yourself if you're a medical patient? Under the current government, it doesn't seem likely that the laws are going to change anytime soon either, but if it was something we actually taxed, it would be something that could benefit our communities, just as alcohol and tobacco are highly taxed in the UK. So currently, with that law change, it seems that doctors in the UK are still very reluctant to prescribe cannabis. It's something that a lot of clinics and pharmacies are already dispensing around the UK privately for a very high amount of profit. Whereas in the UK, we do have a National Health Service, and if some people were able to get that through the National Health Service rather than privately, it would be something that could actually save a lot of lives, but also save us a lot of money. So what can we do about it here in the UK? Now, there's actually a lot that we can do, even though it does seem oftentimes quite futile. And that is, you can contact your MP. Now, there's websites that are dedicated to finding who your MP is in your area and their contact details. In fact, I contacted my MP not that long ago and sent numerous responses back arguing with them about the facts over cannabis. They said to me that the usual old spiel that cannabis is very harmful to families and our communities. Now, I would agree that it might be the case on some drugs, including alcohol, I might add, but cannabis has been shown to not impact that much in the community. It's been shown that when it is decriminalized, that consumption doesn't actually grow very much. So when they give you that same old excuse, it's very easy to counter. And now it's becoming very easy to argue these points with MPs. And if we argue this point with our MPs, but really come from a place of genuine concern for our communities, not just because we want it recreationally or medicinally or whatever it might be, it's just small changes that might actually better our society, better the living standards. So pressing your MP about you know, the fact that NHS doctors are not prescribing, or the current manufacturers of the cannabis, the quality, the industry, and complaining about those certain things are small changes to improving the stigma around cannabis, but also just the quality in general and the standards in general. So I'll leave a link down below where you can read the email that I sent to my MP, and absolutely feel free to copy and paste, take out bits here and there because some of it will be relevant to myself, but please feel free to email your MP, make it as easy as possible, and just honestly, it's very easy to refute a lot of what they're saying and try to come to an amicable agreement of what they may do. But honestly, it's about pushing. It's about, you know, constantly going back. I'll be going back to my MP again to check with them. I mean, honestly, the current administration I don't think will actually be in office very much longer, but it doesn't matter. It's just about getting the word out there. It's just about changing the stigma, changing the conversation, putting a different face on the movement, on the people that want to change the law in the UK. But there are actually a lot of people already doing something about this in the UK. We actually have a lot of activists and organisations that are already set up in order to try and fight this law and try and get it reformed in the UK. There's the Cannabis Industry Council, there's CLEAR, there's Drug Equality Alliance, there's Normal UK, there's Transform Drug Policy Foundation, and yes, I'm reading this off a list, Cannabis Social Club. There is many in the UK that are trying to change the law, but it is something that we can support. So if you can support any of these organisations, if you can donate, if you can look at what they're doing, if you can get involved, there's another one called End Our Pain, I think, which is run by some of the people that actually changed the law. As like I say, there's I believe only a handful of people in the UK. I mean, on one hand, I believe it's only 4 patients that have been prescribed cannabis medicines in the UK, even though it's been legal for 5 years to do so. Lastly, what can you do? Well, there's petitions. There is one that I believe Drew is sharing, and if you are in the sort of Cannabis UK community, you might have heard of him. He's the guy with green hair. He put out a video yesterday where he was advocating for people to go sign a petition that would allow patients to grow their own cannabis. Now, I'm at home growing my own potatoes, tomatoes, strawberries and whatnot, and I do that as a little bit of a pastime. But if I could grow my own bud at home, that would become a hobby, and that would be something that quite frankly would save me a lot of money. And oftentimes it is a choice. It is sometimes it's like that. Do you turn the gas on or do you pay, you know, the food bill? It's the same with paying for my medicine some days, and it is something that really needs to change in that respect. So there is other petitions out there. There's some to just change the law in general, to decriminalize, to legalize. But like I said, there are some that are just for advocating for small changes, because I do think it is going to be a slow road. Other countries are decriminalizing and legalizing, but it is still a long road for them. It's going to be a long road for us, but it is something that we can do, and it is something that is accomplishable in the near future. Myself, I sign a lot of these petitions. I'll be putting some down in the description below, so I hope you go sign some of these petitions. I hope you go contact some of these organizations. I hope you contact your MP and get very angry at them. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe learned something from it. Maybe you already knew all of this, but maybe it's just nice to see somebody else talking about it, and that is really what's important, that we all keep talking about this, because it's something that we can definitely change together if we keep getting the word out. So love yourself today, guys. Take care. I'll see you next time.